Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We have Quant on our video today, QNT on the exchange. Guys, this is one of our favourite projects, certainly in my top 5 of asset holding. It's had a phenomenal movement in the chart over the last week, and in fact over the last few months as well. We'll go into a bit more detail about that shortly, as to many reasons why this is and what we need to look out for next. But for now, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things from Quant that have happened recently. We had the CBOS event, which we mentioned a few weeks back now, that was upcoming. That has taken place, of course, and in the last few days they released the nice videos here. Gilbert Verdian, CEO and founder of Quant, had some interesting things to say. I particularly liked this bit, which we'll go on to in a second, from this interview with the CMO of Quant, Andrew Carrier. But for me, Quant is not just an interoperable powerhouse. This is something that's really going to define both blockchain and finance for the years to come. They're a heavy institution relating themselves to things like the Digital Pound Foundation here in the UK, which we covered a year ago, I think now, and loads of other areas that they're working with. That includes working closely with other partners such as like Hedera Hashgraph, for example. So there's lots going on with these guys, and it's really apparent that more and more people are becoming aware. But people also need to understand like where we are with everything. I still think Quant's going to be a mega asset to be holding for the years to come, especially as the RTGS system gets replaced over the next 2-3 years, with that defined date right now as a recording, November 2025, when everything CBDC related and finance related switches to this new DLT blockchain system, replacing older systems like Swift and Chaps, etc., into the new wave. And Quant are going to be up there, guys, as one of the financial infrastructures in place to do so. So just have a quick listen to this, because for me, in the Web3 gaming world that I work in, I always reiterate the point about games needing to come together for an interoperable perspective. Imagine like battle royales with cross gaming abilities, which we can do with smart contracts and NFT application. It's no different for the financial world, and I think that blockchain has a position here, guys, to really change the way companies and businesses and generalization around the world operate. We can all work together to have a better, more efficient world. So just have a quick listen to this, because I think this is absolutely on point with certainly some of the beliefs that I have within the Web3 space.
So in 2023, what do you think is the one thing this industry needs to collectively get done? What would you like to see them achieve?
I think financial services, they're no longer competing against each other. They're actually collaborating in a friendly way. And I think what we're seeing is the banding together of how we can change the industry as a whole and transform to the next generation, which is where we are right now. It's an inflection point. In about a year's time, what I'd like to see is a lot more real institutional use cases of digital assets being used, transactions being committed, and volume happening on traditional securities that have transformed, but also new types of products and securities.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a real evolution of where this is heading, which is exciting.
And the key is interoperability and collaboration.
It is, yeah, interoperability. What I want for next year is everyone to be very well aware and know what we've done and use it within their institutions, because we're not just shaping the tech, we're shaping the standards around it as well.
Well, we'll be back next year.
Yes.
Gilbert, thank you. Always fascinating to chat to you.
Guys, that was really interesting, and as I said, those remarks echo what I always think in this space. For those that don't know, I work in Web3 gaming in particular. Of course, very heavily involved in blockchain aspects, and my key points on any AMAs or anything like this is about interoperability and collaboration. It's those exact words almost. And this is important. This is important to create an infrastructure that works collectively. You can't just have one country doing one thing and another country doing another. You all have to have the different organizations within these countries working together, communicating with each other, not just from communication like hello, goodbye, but also from a technological communication perspective. And that's why messaging services in finance are very important, of course. And this is why we talk about things like, Ripple and the aspect of the RTGS system, CBDCs, all have to work. They all have to work within each other's systems. And Quant is one of those, in my opinion, at the top of the umbrella, very near the top of the umbrella, to define how this works and define, as Gilbert said just there, the standardizations, the creation of this, and working towards a common goal, because this is how the world will really excel. And as long as it's in the right hands and with the right people, it will be a positive outcome. And these guys are leading it. This is what I love about this project. They're a leader. So that is reflected, of course, in the price, which we'll go into in a second as well. But there's big things to come, guys, for Quant. And I'm just going to mention this as well. Another amazing big event happening right now, today and tomorrow in London, the Merge 22 event here. Mentioning here as well, CBDCs and their role in the world of web. Victoria Thompson from Aura, the member of Digital Pound Foundation there as well. But Quant are very heavily involved in these kind of events and conversations. It's very important we understand this, because all the different sectors out there, energy, healthcare, transportation, automation, Quant's going to be, in my opinion, one of the kings, if not the kings, if you like, of the financial world in terms of the next wave of how technological advancements occur in this space, but also educating and building knowledge to existing retail channels or existing retail banks out there. Talking with the likes of like Barclays and NatWest and all these things, where they're already kind of like half partnered already. The next steps are to really encourage these guys to cooperate and move forward in the right direction. And actually, as we covered in the recent video, a lot of the banks are indeed working towards ISO compliance, ISO 20022, but also the DLT technology. So this is going to be a really exciting time, certainly leading up to 2025, in my opinion. So we're going to just jump straight into the charts, guys, because I'm pretty sure you guys are quite excited to see what's been going on here. And for me, it's been absolutely incredible to witness and see the transition of Quant over the last week or two, and particularly the last couple of days. Actually, it's been absolutely incredible to see this. So let's get the chart up right now for Quant. So we see here $213, guys. It's not even high as it was earlier today. Today we saw a high of 228. Now, for me personally, I sold some at 197, just around here, with the implication that we were reaching a rounded number. It was coinciding with some activity that I saw previously in the charts at these lower regions, these earlier regions, back in November 2021 and August 2021 respectively. Now, we mentioned in one of the previous videos about buying opportunities at lower regions, one at $100 and one at lower regions. Now, this is exactly why I talk about DCAing, because you have to have the anticipation of understanding where the chart is right now and where it might go. Now, I don't think anyone expected Quant to be making these kind of moves in such a short space of time. We had the big events. Of course, at these events, guys, it's not just all talk and networking and stuff like this. There's going to be people there that be like, right, what do I want to invest in right now? Well, actually, this is really interesting. I'm going to pass some money in across here. So we've got those aspirations coming in, but also we've got a lot of FOMO coming in. I've seen a lot of tweets earlier today saying they've moved from X crypto asset to Quant, following the trend, following the pattern. This is sometimes a dangerous thing to do, chasing money, because you need to be reflective on where we are in the chart. Everything can change, of course, at the spin or flip of a coin, right? As we've seen here, as I've mentioned just a minute ago, about putting lower regions of purchasing opportunities. Now, I'm still going to have those there. I'm still not saying that Quant is definitely defining itself over $200 and it will stay there. We have to have a lot of work here now to stabilize this and sustain that kind of level. If it doesn't and it breaks back through, there is already a big gap here between arguably $130 and where we are right now, or indeed up to that $200 mark. So this is where we got to be very cautious. And you can see some patterns here previously around the 154 mark, or around that 150 mark, let's say, that we have an option to come back to as well. And we saw a bit of retaliation here for a few days before it spiked up. So right now, as I said, I'm leaving these buy orders in here, but I will be putting one back down at these lower regions, probably around 170, and one down here just under 150, about 147. So this is number one, and this being number two. Oh, that's a terrible two. I don't know why I tried drawing that with lines. But that is my anticipation. This can't go on up forever. I mean, if it does, brilliant. We'll become very happy with that. But look at this, guys. From June 2022 up to today's recent high, 465% increase. That is why I sold some at 197, which is obviously a bit lower than where we are right now. But for example, buying at 43, I sat there and I was thinking, well, I'll take out some initial investment out at 200. If it goes higher, brilliant. But for me personally now, I won't be looking to sell anymore until it gets to sort of maybe the 500 or indeed maybe even $1,000. And you're probably thinking, well, that's quite far off. But I'm not saying that's happening in the very near future, but certainly long-term goals in general anyway, that's always been some target areas to sell off some more quant and see where it goes. I'll always keep a batch behind for the long run. Of course, when you see the Bitcoin prices as they are today, I'm not suggesting quant may go to those extreme levels, but they can certainly more than capable of doing so. If more and more people, as evident in the last few days, come into quant, understanding it more, understanding the principle of finance, technology, and all the other things that we talk about here around quant's, philosophy and aura about it in general, plus all the people just jumping in as willy-nilly. So this is what we've got to understand, all these different events and different psychologies behind why the prices are going the way they are. So that in mind is still very interesting to see this massive development over the last few days. It's very exciting. Of course, I could argue that I wish I held on a bit longer for an extra $20-$30, but this is the game, guys. You have to be no emotion and just go with the strategy, stick with it. It's not always right, it's not always wrong, but you just have to anticipate things. So as I said, I've sold at 197. If I can get back in at lower regions around this sort of 170, 150 mark, happy days. I'm encouraging profits that I've taken to be reinvested, but I do have still my big batch areas back down here. They may not come back, who knows, but I can at least now play based on what I see in front of me right now, what I want to achieve with quant, with my positions over the next few days and weeks to come. But that being said, wow, what a move quant has been having recently. In fact, the last few days, 5 days or so, 54% increase is absolutely huge for an asset class like this, and value. The indicators on the right hand side, look at this. Year to date, this is one of the very few, if not the only one I've seen so far in my followings and watch lists that has a green for year to date. And even on the 1 year, it's slowly bringing itself down. But that 6 months at 85% is phenomenal. And the others are also fantastic to see as well. So back to my point about where my buying positions are next. As I said, I sold at 197. I'm just waiting around now to see if we support at 200 or if we bring this back down over a period of time. I'm talking about like 2-3 months. There's some other great events coming up with quant and communications and networking in the coming weeks and days, especially the one over today and tomorrow, as we mentioned, in London. So there's plenty of opportunity for maybe a few more spikes. We'll have to see. But certainly talk and conversations around social media and all of these great things are very much moving around quant right now, and it's good to see extra awareness. The RSI is right now floating around at 86 on 14 days. So as an investment perspective, this quite categorically for myself, I will not be jumping in at all with investment at this stage. If this 14-day comes back down to around the 50 mark, 45, absolutely. And the same with the 28-day as well. It's going to take a bit longer to bring itself back down. But again, it's too high, in my opinion, to be jumping in with significant amounts. I will be again waiting for those sort of nearer to 40 marks on the 28-day and the 14. The 90-day, however, on the long run, if you're really, really looking at long term and you're not too fussed about buying in right now or accumulating at certain levels, then fair enough. But I still think that's quite a higher middle ground right now. So I just need it to calm down a bit, see where it takes us. If it keeps going up higher, brilliant. making more money, more profit, right? But if you're coming into this first time, please do research, understand the charts, and understand that if you're jumping in, it's at the high end or the deep end, if you like, and it is a bit of a struggle to get back to that shallow end. It's quite a risky thing to do, so just be cautious about that. It's very hard, I know. I went for a year or so about this kind of attitude towards things, just chasing it because it's rising. You don't want to miss out. The FOMO kicks in, and you sometimes get regrets doing that. So just be wary and cautious. That's not suggesting that we might shoot up to 500. You just got to understand that this predicament right now is that there's a high risk factor. There could be potential big rewards, but also on the more likely side at this moment in time is that this thing's coming down to test the lower regions again. We have to go based on trading and chart mechanisms as well as the project itself. That's all I will say about it, guys. It's down to you as individuals. I can't give financial advice. All I can do is give opinion, and especially based on the experience that I've dealt with many times over the last 3 or 4 years. So guys, that's wrapping up Quant. We've got a few more videos to get through today, but my goodness, Quant is absolutely flying, isn't it? So that is that for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video update of Quant. Take care and bye-bye.